There is a company in Hyderabad, Map My Genome, which does this for you. So mainly saliva samples are taken and they are processed in different technologies like the microarray or sequencing technologies. So there are two interesting products that are there in their company. One is Know Your Gut. So this kit, when you use this kit, when you give your saliva, so they'll do a series of extraction process. They will run microarray chip. They'll test your saliva and test your genomic profile, and they will tell you what are the bacteria that are there in your gut. How far you can improvise the gut profile. Interesting, right? And still more interesting, Kate. The genomopathy heritage discover the origin of you. A simple DNA sequence of your body from your cell can they can trace back your family history and tell you from where you have been originated. So this is from a tentative list of 20,000 set of profiling they have done. So this may not be 100% sure, but it's a very interesting result that you can look into. And with the recent hype with weight loss drugs, like you would have heard about a lot of drugs that are being marketed nowadays. Many American countries and European countries want to jump into Indian markets because we just want to lose our weight. So Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro drugs, which are GLP-1 drugs. So GLP-1 drugs are glutathione binding peptide 1 drugs, which are mainly given for the diabetic patients. So these drugs are mainly designed to treat level 2 of diabetics. But one of the advantage of using these drugs is that you also lose weight. So this is where the companies try to make profit. They are also selling these drugs as a health loss drug. No, sorry, not a health loss, weight loss drugs, where where many people make a choice. But it is very important that when you use these sort of drugs, you make an informed choice. Of course, it is the interest of the person who uses this drug, but you should know the side effects and advantages, disadvantages, whether a doctor is prescribing you this medicine. So those sort of understanding has to be there before taking this sort of the so-called fancy drugs. So this is where the technology is taking us now. And some fancy related technologies, glow in the dark plants. So you would have noticed the fireflies, which has small bioluminescence enzymes. So why not take that gene from the firefly, put it in the plant? So that was done, which is a company called Light Bio, where you can see the plants which are glowing in the night. So you can use them like lamps in your rooms. So you'll be shocked to know that these plants are sold for like $250. So there is also market for these sort of fancy technologies which can make people happy. So 3D printing issues. So this, when you come to the medical domain, there is a lot of advancements in the mainly in the terms of technology, mainly for bioprinting, which is printing these out of small organs. You would have seen pictures of heart, 3D lungs, liver, many things. So Pandorium, which is a company based in India, they they work on printing 3D tissues. So this is a bioengineered printed cornea, which is a part of your eye. So this sort of printed organs or 3D printing tissues can help us reduce the wait time for organ donations. So these are literally a boon for many people who require this sort of transplantations. So this presentations will not be complete which if I don't talk about AI technologies, how far AI is playing a very major role in shaping this biotechnology and also the basic biological researches. So there is an interesting paper recently which talk about the deep learning approach to antibiotic discovery. So they have designed a AI model which was able to produce a synthetic molecule on its own. It was able to design a molecule. So one such example is allicin. So this molecule was synthetically designed and produced by a deep learning AI model. So this compound they have synthesized in the lab, and they are working on this molecule. So they are able to identify very interesting results with these molecules. So this is where uh, our technology is taking us to. So the recent Nobel Prize winner AlphaFold. So you can see this, you can use it online. It is just a very simple user interface where if you give a protein sequence, it will predict the structure of the protein. So these sort of prediction databases also run on the deep learning algorithm. So the basis for running this deep learning algorithm concept or the principle comes from our basic understanding of the biological concept, how this amino acids come together. If two amino acid A and amino acid B come together, will they be straight? Or whether if X and Y come together, will they fold? So these sort of basic understanding build up the basis or the principle for designing this sort of very interesting and novel tools. So talking about all these innovations, one major thing that you have to keep in mind is the ethics. The ethics is the quality check between the invention and the impact that it makes to the society. So whenever a product comes to the market, there are rigorous paperwork, rigorous approvals that has to be done to the government to get the product onto the market. Uh, However, it can be. There are different things that has to be kept in mind. Safety comes first. Yes, rigorous testing, its impact on the humans, how far it is going to affect the human or benefit the human has to be done. Transparency and labeling. So whenever you take any crops like GM crops or any other product which is consumable, the knowledge of the ingredients is very much needed. You should know what you are ingesting. And that sort of transparency has to be there when a product is coming to the market. And environmental responsibility. So it's not just producing something and throwing away in the environment. Can nature handle this? Can we really recycle the product that we are? Or the nature is going to be harmed? How, in what percentage the nature will be harmed, and what percentage the humans will be benefited? So that ratio balance has to be there. Access and equity. A life-saving product that only the wealthy can afford isn't saving enough life. For example, this precision medicine as of now is a very costly affair. Not all can afford it, but many people need it bad. So how far we are able to afford it to all sections of the people is also a very major question that a technologically driven people who are working in this background has to think. We have to deliver this technology accessible to all section of the people in the world. So thank you for listening.